every single day.
I just think we should save our fury about whether Ukraine get included or not for when they actually get excluded.
Can I just assert a little bit of realism into the conversation?
Yes.
Because I know Dan started off by saying, "Oh, Russia's this crappy little second-rate power. We have to flatter them and make them think they matter, but they really don't. They're really weak." It's always a pretty weird contradiction to simultaneously say that and then at the same time warn that Russia's going to start invading Western Europe, this crappy little second-rate power. But the reality is, this is the reality whether you like it or not, Russia has fought a war now for 3 years against unified NATO and the United States, pouring hundreds of billions of dollars and highly sophisticated weapons into Ukraine, and the front line continues to move westward, not eastward, where the Russians are gaining more and more territory. More and more Ukrainians are being killed. There are fewer Ukrainian men left in that country who want to fight. They're being forcibly dragged in there and used as cannon fodder, or they're fleeing and risking their lives to do it. The reality is Russia is winning the war or has won the war. And you can say, oh, you must be a Kremlin agent to say that.
Well, you just got to know nothing about military information or tactics. That's what you have to do to say that. You just have to know nothing.
So the idea that...
Which is clearly what you do.
Yeah, well...
you've got so many facts wrong, it's hard to know where to even start.
You can... You think Ukraine is winning the war? In which direction is the front line moved, Dan? Has it moved westward or eastward?
It depends on where you're looking at. It depends on where you're looking at. I hate to break it to you, but it depends on where you're looking at. And the ratios of Russian deaths to Ukrainian deaths is like 4-1. You just don't know what you're talking about. You've never fought anything. You don't know anything about the military.
I fought a lot of things. I fought a lot of things.
Oh, you fought a lot of things?
Just because you were in the military doesn't make you an expert. I'm sorry to say that Donald Trump...
I don't need to be an expert. I just know basic facts and I have all the briefings on it. I don't think you do.
Clearly Russia is winning the war. The Ukrainians don't even want to go and fight this war any longer. They're fleeing the country.
It's a war of attrition with a stalemate. That's what we're looking at right now. That's the most honest way to look at it.
I'm sorry to say, one of the things that I know that you don't actually have to go join the military to understand is that Russia is many, many, many times larger than Ukraine. And that's the reason why the most prescient geopolitical experts, people have been on this show, I've interviewed them many times, people like John Mearsheimer and Jeffrey Sachs and Stephen Wald, all said since 2022, Ukraine will inevitably lose this war and Russia will win it. And I'll tell you why. This is the one point I want to make. When President Obama was on his way out of office in 2016, Jeffrey Goldberg interviewed him for a cover story on the Obama foreign policy doctrine. And he criticized Obama for not standing up to Russia in Syria and in Ukraine. And what Obama said was, the reality is Ukraine is and always has been and always will be a vital interest to Russia because it's right on the other side of their border, and it has never been and never will be a vital interest to the United States. So the idea that we're going to confront Russia or go to war with Russia over who governs various provinces in eastern Ukraine is absolute madness.
All right,
and President Obama was absolutely right, and President Trump thinks that too.
All right.
Access to everything TikTok has, which means data on all Americans, and with data and with access to your app that you're addicted to, you can vastly manipulate an entire population, which the Chinese have done already.
Are you worried that our intelligence agencies are doing the same thing domestically?
Am I worried that I know that they're not.
They're not manipulating Americans? They're not controlling the flow of information?
Yeah. Did you have some evidence otherwise that you'd like to share?
I mean,
okay.
Before the
any serious questions?
So ByteDance were to say...
Congressman, you asked for an example of the U.S. intelligence agencies meddling in our information. What about before the 2020 election when 50 members came out and said the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation? Does that count?
No, because I mean they were retired.
They were retired, but the FBI had the laptop for over a year.
Nothing even close to a TikTok.
Vote for a ban on Congress members trading stocks?
Yeah, I mean, this is like number 1,000 on my priority list of things to care about. This is one of those stupid things that I've been dragged through the mud on. You know how much fucking money I've ever had in the stock market? About $20,000. And yet I've been dragged through the mud on this as if like there's some insider trading. I had to send a letter to Fox News, a threatening letter from my lawyers, threatening them with defamation because Jesse Waters had basically insinuated that I was insider trading. Of course, it's not true. You'd be more surprised how much little information we have. This is one of those bills that of course, yeah, people support it. Yeah, sure. Okay. Who cares? Because I barely have anything in the market anyway. Are there a couple cases wherein Nancy Pelosi has some very suspicious timing of her trades? Yeah, that has happened. But nobody else can point any other examples out. So sure, yeah, why not? Don't let us trade stocks. How about we'll just keep whipping ourselves. How about we don't make any money either? How about like just cut our paychecks? We haven't gotten a pay raise since 2008, even a COLA increase. So yeah, no, actually, no, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's make Congress a place where only the millionaires can actually afford to do the job. This is a wonderful idea. Let's just keep doing that, because and then some it's always some member, right, who senses the populist energy and then mirrors it, believing that this is what's going to help me connect with the people. Because what do the people want? Well, they want an easy button. All my problems will be solved if there's no stock trading. All my problems will be solved if there's term limits. Yeah, but if you think about any of these things for 5 whole minutes, you might quickly come to a different conclusion. Now, what I vote for? Yeah, sure. Who cares? Who cares? Like it doesn't matter to me because I don't have any fucking money to put in the stock market.
So, I mean, Dan Crenshaw obviously is not emotionally prepared to lead anything, and he's out of control. He's out of control, and I think that he's a really volatile person. I hope he gets help. I mean that, and but he's also a pretty sinister person, I would say, whose priorities are not aligned with his party's voters, but also have kind of nothing to do with the United States. So
right.
I object. I mean, want to be honest. I feel sorry for Dan Crenshaw. I've had conflict with Dan Crenshaw. I felt like he was emotionally out of control, and so I feel sorry for him. But I also think it's not just him. It's a lot of the leadership of that party just doesn't put the United States first at all. And they all want to suck up to Trump and America first. Really, where's the money going? It's not going here. It's going to the countries whose lobbies control you.
Right.
That's the truth.
Was told that Dan Crenshaw was actively working against me. One congressman would not sign that petition. That was Dan Crenshaw.
All right, I know you guys have a lot of opinions on Dan Crenshaw, Eddie Gallagher. Eddie Gallagher came out on his Instagram, I believe, and just put Dan Crenshaw on blast. This is interesting. Stand by.
I've got something to say that I've been holding on to for about 4.5 years now. I've tried to deal with this internally.
Now, I've cut this up into a bite-sized piece. I'll link down to Eddie's website. You can find the full thing. I could not find it on Instagram anymore. I found it on Twitter.
It's been weighing me down for some time. I've tried to just let it go, just like I have with the whole nightmare that happened to me and my family. But I feel compelled to come out now and speak the truth about a certain individual. So back in 2019, I was charged with war crimes, murder.
Now, that part of it, I know the Geneva Convention, but I just don't get why his command didn't say, you're just trying to kill the bad guy, and now he comes to you broken, and let's just say it happened. I would have thought the command would have tried to just downplay this issue, because this guy's got a storied career. I mean, he was a lifer. I mean, this is what you want, right?
And I was facing life in prison without parole. I sat in pretrial confinement for about 9 months before my actual trial. During that time, my wife, Andrea, and brother, Sean.
They were out to get this guy. I don't know if you know the full details of this case. You should check it out, where, like, the government's lawyer bugged his lawyer's email account. I mean, it was very bizarre. And Dan Crenshaw is not a fan of Eddie.
Along with...
It does seem like the vice president was pretty clear when he said that he doesn't care about what happens in Ukraine either way. But you don't think that Ukraine is at all at a risk of losing support with Trump in office?
Trump has never said, as J.D. Vance said that, Trump has never said that. Right? Trump came up with a different approach Trump has come up with a different approach. I mean, the reason we made it a loan, what did Trump say? Let's make it a loan. That's basically the easiest loan ever with no interest and no timelines on it. Trump has always been pretty good about supporting Ukraine. When Obama was giving Ukraine, blankets, Trump was giving them weapons. So I'm not as worried about the Trump presidency.
Sure.
J.D. Vance says Ukraine doesn't matter all that much. Well, the vice presidency doesn't matter all that much either. The president is what matters, and that's who I'm voting for.